I am on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Go Get It Life fourth annual gratitude challenge. I'm Theo Rossi, and this is all the incredible humans whose stories who so amazingly submitted their stories, and I just thought they were so motivating to me, all for different reasons. And I just think it's going to be great that you guys can hear it and that I can actually get to talk with them a little and just kind of dive into what makes them do what they do, or even just the fact of just listening to and being surrounded by other people who are as amazing as they are. Go Get It Life is something that I've said a million times, kind of started at a complete accident when I was working on a show called Sons of Anarchy. I just really needed kind of ways to motivate myself. I was changing my life completely. It was right around between season 3 and 4. And it was the perfect time because it was during the time in that show when, if anybody remembers, all the characters had gone to prison. So it was the first time ever where the characters had like a year and a half uh, in Charming World as opposed to the real world. So I was able to changed my entire life, my look, my whole thing. Like I started running, I started, it's kind of when I became a vegan and like started eating better and like everything just changed um, a lot in a lot of ways. And during that time, I had to like motivate myself. And it's really when social media started really becoming like a thing. And I would just do these little like go get it hashtags for myself, just to like different quotes, different things. And it was really for me. And then I don't know who it was, but there was a couple of people at the time who were like, hey, why don't you put one of those go get it life quotes out, or those go get it life things that you're writing? They really help me in the daytime. And I was like, wow, there's people who just want to do better for themselves and do better for other people. And I just got so motivated by the whole thing. And as my life grew and as, everything grew, I just thought, wouldn't it be really cool if everybody just had this one place where they can submit these amazing stories? Maybe feel free, do it anonymously, do it maybe not anonymously, read other people's stories. I've always felt that the greatest thing that I've ever seen in my life is when I see that I'm not the only one who's potentially going through something, or I'm not the only one that maybe feels a certain way. And I think that, in this life, we don't see that a lot, especially in the way the news cycle is and everything. And there's a lot of negativity and stuff like that. So we just kind of set up this simple platform, and ultimately now, a couple of years later, it's turned into it's taken on so many manifestations because I'm an ambassador or an advisor on so many different nonprofits. So I thought it was really cool to have it as a catch-all for all the different organizations that I support and that I'm involved in, um, where they can learn about those. And then I thought, and then next thing you know, because I'm a big runner, we started doing a 5K every year. We just had our second one. And now we'll start growing that potentially to other cities, potentially to whatever. And then just, little things that would happen on it, whether it be the Instagram page to daily motivation, to the Twitter page, to cooking stuff, to story. I mean, just everything. And who knows where it's going to go? I don't really know. It's really more Megan's deal at this point. It's kind of, gone on to her and taken on this life of its own. But this was something, the gratitude challenge that came up 4 years ago, that was something that I needed to do because I think during the holidays, especially in the States and probably everywhere at this point, it really does become about us. It never becomes about anybody else anymore. And it's so about like what we want, or just, getting time off from work and just, relaxing, and never really like focusing on, wow, what was the old things that it used to be with the holidays? It was like, oh man, let's see what we can do for these people. Let's see what, helping a family out, or helping ourselves out, or maybe taking a time to just taking that break in the holiday to really better ourselves. So I just really felt that this was a moment that I can create this gratitude challenge, because I just thought that a lot of people want to share certain stories. Cut two, here we are on the fourth annual one, and I have these incredible people who sent in their stories with me. So I'm just going to say their names, and I will probably utterly butcher their last names, and I'm just going to probably say their first names. So I'll stay away from doing that. Right now we have Marina from Paris, France, who
Hi.
is just truly, you know, in brief, she's just an incredible human being who really is helping other people and at the same time helping herself. And you know, that's what I'll say about it. And she's selfless, because sometimes when things are happening to ourselves, we make it all about ourselves. But she found a way to take something that was kind of affecting her and found a way to help other people while helping herself. And I just am so her story touched me in a way that it just made me feel a lot of different things about what humans should be and how they should handle themselves. Sometimes when we're in the worst position, the best thing we can do is help others. Next, we have Laura, who I know we live in the same part of New York City. We know each other before this. Laura is not just an absolutely incredible artist with cakes, as crazy as, you know, that might not do what you think. And when I say amazing, like, I'm sure they're all over Megan's Instagram, but I'm sure you'll after this see hers, is just utterly incredible with that. But honestly, that just takes an absolute backseat to what she does in her daily life every single day. I'm lucky enough to the story was submitted, you know, by a friend, but it's funny because I've always kind of known it from an outsider perspective of living in the same community and hearing things and seeing things, you know, but obviously sometimes when things are close enough to you, you don't take notice of it as much until somebody puts pen to paper and you read it. And just things within her own family, the selfless acts, you know, from starting with just her life of adopting her son to just her tireless, never stop working, consistently choosing activities and raising things and raising money and trying to help groups. And I'm sure in the meantime, never, ever, ever sleeping, but still looks fantastic.
No.
See, Laura? That's just it. Next is Lindsey. Next is Lindsey. Lindsey and I have an incredible history. Lindsey, I've always remembered when I first came onto social media, was kind of like one of the people that I just always remembered. And we started this kind of friendship via, you know, social media, just, you know, through different, you know, writing each other and kind of watching her grow. I don't know how long I've been on social media. I don't know how long we've been on, but I felt like the whole time I was on, Lindsey was always there. And watching her, what she's really embraced go get it life like no other, like in every single way, and has turned all the positive stuff of go get it life, all the stuff that everybody has put into it, all the fans of it, all the people who use the platform, all the people who follow it on, you know, Instagram and Twitter. And she has taken all of that and used all of that in her life and done it and helped others. And in the meantime has created herself, which has just become this incredible version of herself. And her journey that I've seen daily since the beginning has been pretty awesome. And I love that she's on this. So it's great seeing you, Linz. Kerin, you know, one of the things when I first started, before I even knew kind of, when I was in LA, really, when I first got there, I was just kind of like, doing anything, you know, I didn't know what was going to happen with my life. I didn't even know I was barely getting, acting jobs. And I didn't even, at that point, I had always done, you know, things in school and kind of stuff to help people, but I really had no introduction into nonprofits and charity and stuff like that. And one of the first casting directors that ever cast me, asked me to do a reading. This is so long ago, for an organization at the time called Cure Autism Now. And it was one of the first things that I went and I kind of did this reading, and I got to meet all the kids, and I saw stuff as someone who went to art school and an artist. I saw stuff that these kids were doing who couldn't even speak, yet they can draw horses perfect. And I was like, this is I've never seen something like this. It was like, and then I started, you know, really going deeper into it and really learning about autism. And then ultimately one of my boss at FX has an autistic son, and he got me involved in different organizations, and I learned so much about. And now, obviously, and Laura knows this, you know, where we live now is obviously a very high autistic community as well. And then obviously I went on to make a film called Bad Hurt because it had been such a huge influence on me. And reading Kerin's stuff and seeing what she's doing and watching that daily. And it's something that, it's so funny. It's something that, even though we hear a lot about it, it's one of those it's one of the things that just kind of stays surface. It never really pops huge. It never really, it's not one of these, fashionable things that people support. And just seeing what Kerin's doing, and it really just moved me. And it took me back to kind of why I'm here, why I do everything I do now. It all started with, so that was pretty awesome. So thank you, Kerin, and great seeing you. And Danny, I just thought was the coolest thing ever because somebody nominated you. And when I first read the story and it was passed on to me, if there's ever a thing in life that I'm one of those people that every day when I'm running, I run every day, and I've now gone into this thing where I listen to some of the greatest speakers, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, all these people just speak about like being better in your life and improving your life. But the main thing is overcoming. That's what people talk about, overcoming, true strength, right? What Danny has overcome, and when you can like literally hear odds or be told something and then just say, no, that's not me. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna pay attention to that diagnosis. I'm not gonna pay attention to that, what you think is gonna happen to me. And then to completely thrive and become an example to other people. It's what I strive for every day. It's what I hope that everybody else strives for, is to be an example and to beat the odds. And Danny is that. He is that person. He's the poster boy for that. And his story, which you'll read, which you'll find out about, and is absolutely incredible. So I am super honored to have you on the show, and just really can't wait to hear more about the organization and stuff you're doing, and really your story, and go deeper into it. So that's kind of the deal. I just wanted to introduce everybody. I want to say a little of what's happening, and I want, I'm going to give you guys do not have to, some people want to keep things. I have no problems talking and telling, anybody who's listening kind of the deal. You do not have to tell your story. People can read it. I understand the whole thing. I get paid to talk, in my other job. I actually never talk when I'm outside of that job usually. This is even weird for me, in the whole thing, which is why I'm probably so terrible on social media with the whole thing of sharing my life at all. But, if you guys just want to say anything, even just say hello, please go ahead. So Marina, if you want to start and just say. Just to put you on the spot.
Sorry?
I said just to put you on the spot in front of everybody and make you start.
Well, my story.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, I was saying that my story was more on the self-improvement side. I basically talked about what I did to overcome depression and what I'm still doing to keep my mind on the positive side and my life on the positive side. I've been battling depression for a very long time now. It started very early for me. And with that, I developed a form of OCD, which is a skin picking disorder. Which I have little to no control over. So when it's happening, most of the time I don't realize that it's happening, and if I do, then I can stop. And I'm trying not to cry because it's I've never told anyone about this.
You don't have to. Just you don't have to.
No, but it
just
feels
say
good. I feel like this is the right moment to do it. So I want to do it. It's just weird, I usually tell people that my scars are from my bad acne, which is not a complete lie because I do have scars from bad acne, but 99.9% of my scars are self-induced. So yeah, and with time, this disorder brought a lot more mental issues. I've been suffering from body dysmorphia, anxiety, social anxiety, stuff like that. And for a long time, it was very hard for me to see an end to it. And I thought I only had two options: either wait it out and just stay stuck like that forever, or end it. And I learned the hard way that option two should have never been an option. And the reason I named my story One Step at a Time is because it's sort of become a guideline for me nowadays. What I learned from my experience with depression is um, that the big picture is scary, and focusing on the big picture isn't always helpful, because not only is the big picture scary, but what stands between you and the big picture is even scarier, and it's easy to get overwhelmed and think, oh, I'm never going to be able to do it. And so now I'm taking things one step at a time. Even in my everyday life, I take baby steps. When not to do, I tend to get anxious over it. So I try to get even the smallest things out of the way, one thing at a time. And yeah, what else could I say? Oh yeah, what also really helped me was I spend most of my time online because I feel like that's where I'm most comfortable. And I found that helping people online and not ignore people who are going through a hard time, and not ignore signs that people are not okay, helped me a lot. Basically spreading positivity, because that helped me find my place in the world and realize that I can have a positive impact on the world and ultimately on my life. So yeah, basically, that's about it.
Marina, I can't thank you enough. I'm yeah, Megan's clapping and crying to my left, and I just want to say that that is it's pretty amazing, because it's so funny that we tell our story, right? And sometimes, like for me, especially in my line of work, it's like a lot of people, they don't know really who you are. They don't know what your deal is. And, for you to sit here and tell and be super honest and let people hear it, it helps so many people. And at the same time, it's so cathartic and helps us so much.
Well, when you're depressed, you feel like you have a mask on. And when she finally, for the first time, got to tell everybody, she's like, "Here I am."
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And thank you again. And thank you. And thank you. And thank you. And thank you. And again, the crazy thing is, Go Get It Life has so many different, why I love it so much and what it's become is like, at one point it's about that. And then one point it's about someone who's, out there and doing all these different things for other people. And at one point, and one person, it's about this like self-improvement of like making themselves better. And then one point it's about someone who overcomes an obstacle. And it's like each one of them is so specific and they're all so meaningful. And that's why the one thing that I always tell people, and I try to explain to them, is like, each story is so unique. We have to get out of the habit of comparing ourselves. We live in a world where it's like so hard not to. I was just watching this stuff this morning that it's like, that said, it was this incredible video that said, back in the day, in the older days, with whether it be our grandparents or even our parents, when they were in a room, it was just them two and the house that they were around. Now, when you're in a room, because of the internet, because of the world, the whole world's in there with us. Like, it could be family members, exes, celebrities, everybody is like right there. And what that does is it makes people feel overwhelmed, because we start comparing ourselves to people's lives that aren't necessarily real, because they're so fabricated sometimes online. And what I really wanted with Go Get It Life was to be super authentic and like real. And it's what I strive for in my own life. Like a lot of people, especially other actors, I don't really hang out with a lot of actors, or people really in this business, because to be honest, I'm kind of like I'm an alien to them. I'm a foreigner. I don't exist in that mindset in a way. And, because I just want to see things like this. I want people to help people. I want people to help themselves more than ever, because I know what I've done, and what I've seen happen. So when I hear stories like yours, my heart just gets like a little bigger, and I just think it's absolutely incredible. And that's why each person in this is so incredibly different and so unique into their story. So thank you again. Laura, again, and nobody here feels like if you don't want to tell anybody anything, you don't have to tell about your story. You just want to be like, yo, what up? I'm this. Cool, move on. You know, you don't have to. Don't feel pressure. But Laura, I feel like that's not you. So go ahead, tell your story.
How did you know that? But there really is nothing great about me or great of things that I do. I think it's just sad that in today that these things don't get done more naturally, and people stop helping other people, and people stop to smell the roses, and people stop to, they always think of themselves and a sense of entitlement. And that's why I was joking before, oh, sleep is for slackers, because I always feel, well, I could be doing this for somebody else right now. I'll worry about me later. And as long as I could put my head on a pillow at night, knowing that I've showed my son how to be an amazing humanitarian, that's all that matters to me. I tell him, I don't need you to be a doctor. I don't need you to be a lawyer. I need you to have empathy and be a great humanitarian and think of others before you ever think of yourself, because that's what makes you a better person in this world. And animals, mostly animals too.
Yeah. They're sleeping all around me right now.
But I had to put mine upstairs because they would make too much noise. But that's, at the end of the day, it's just, there's so many, like you said, here on the island, with autism, cancer, it's so sad that it's just all around us. And instead of helping people, people just be sad about it on Facebook, or, you know, or just say, oh, I want to help, but then they don't do anything. And, you know, if I can make a difference in one little girl or one person's life and give them something that they don't get, and to me, that is the biggest blessing and gift there is. So
yeah,
that's,
and I know everything you do, and I know all the different things you do. And it's funny, I was recently speaking at an engagement down somewhere on the island for, you know, SIEDC or whatever it was, and I said to them, and they didn't expect it because I was speaking kind of for Ounce Water, and I said, you know, I hadn't lived here. You know, I left here at a very young age. You know, I went off to school, and then I went straight to Los Angeles, and I was in Los Angeles for many years, and then I just came back here, you know, just for a couple of years, and I don't know what the future will hold. But what I told people about this place specifically in New York City where we live, but really not just here. I've been seeing it in a lot of places that we live. I mean, that we travel to. Sorry. Not that I live in 16 different places, guys. Yeah. So, but what I said was, I said, as much as I want you all to do things for other people, because I think that that's the greatest thing in the world, I said, the first thing you have to do is you have to do for yourself. You have to make yourself confident. You have to feel good about yourself. This is a step-by-step journey. Now, some people, by doing right for others and doing good for others, make themselves feel better, which is amazing, because that's part of the building process. But also a lot of us, because it takes time. I have friends that are in their 40s, 50s, you know, who are still working on themselves. They have to get themselves to a place where they are comfortable. You know, recently we just had this conversation today with people that were at the house, that it was told to me that the best thing you can do in the morning is, before you get out of bed, just stretch a little and say the things you're grateful for in your head, like right away. Then when you walk into the bathroom and you see the mirror, smile, because a smile makes you happy no matter what. It's just a thing. When you smile in a mirror, it just makes you happy. Like, you can't help it. And then it said to tell yourself you love yourself. And that's why I Instagrammed this thing today, because it's so hard to tell ourselves that. It's so hard to say I love you to yourself, because you almost feel weird about it in the beginning. Like, why would I say that? That's weird. But one of the things I posted today was, it said, name the things that you love. How long would it take you to mention yourself? And it's like, if you start with that self-love, it's really easy to give back to others. It's really easy to have that ability to feel the confidence to do that. You know, I tell my sons every night before they go to bed, I say, 3 things I say. I say, I love you, you're the best, and you're a king, is what I tell them. And I tell them that every night before they go to bed, because I need them to know that. I need them to know that when they go into this world, that they need the armor of a king. They need to be a king, and they need to act like a king, because they'll be able to portray that to other people, and they'll be able to understand how to give back, and they'll able to understand. But they have to have that self-love. And I think, you know, what Marina was saying in the beginning, and Laura, what you do every day, and you set that example for your son, you know, it's like, this is, it seems so simple. It seems so simple. You know, Paul Newman said it. It's like, I don't find anything special about philanthropy or being a humanitarian. It's the other attitude that confuses me. You know, it's not the one of doing it. So I also understand that a lot of people just don't know how to give back. And what I tell them is, when you don't know how to give back to yourself. Give back to yourself first, and then you'll figure out how to give back to others. So thank you so much, Laura. Next is Lindsey, who, you know, we spoke before this, and you know, I was telling Lindsey, because Lindsey, you know, again, Lindsey and I have been speaking online for so long, and, you know, in dribs and drabs, and then more and more. And I just, you know, I'm going to let Lindsey say what she wants to say. But the one thing I just want to say about Lindsey before she even goes is, Lindsey has really, she'll never say it because she probably just doesn't, you know, she's going to be shy about it and do whatever, but she's really embraced her life in so many ways that I probably don't even know, and has really just become such a more upfront and out there person. So Lindsey, I'm not going to put any pressure on you, but if you just want to say hello or you want to say anything, go for it.
Hi. My story was more about self-improvement. I needed to better myself so I could help others more. Like recognising things I wanted to change and then having the courage to change them.
Yeah, and you have. So fun what you know, and again, just because I'm gonna kind of speak for Lindsey a little, because we kind of had a little deal going into this, is, you know, Lindsey's shyness and her way is like, you know, her introduction of coming into the world was embracing herself. You know what I'm saying? And really, and how she's come in to go get it life, and how she's embraced, you know, go get it life. And really just honestly, you know, what people don't understand is, like, I really never sleep. So I see everything. I see everything that people write. I see everything that people say. I'm super particular about everything. Like it's just, I'm an observer in this world. I think it's the only way I can do my job the right way. Like, I have to see everything. I have zero self-centeredness. I have no interest in it. I'm just interested in observing the world and figuring out ways that I can make it better, make myself better, make my family better. And when I got to, you know, see somebody like Lindsey, you know, I just saw someone who I know just wanted to be more outgoing, to find ways to improve, and to just take that, and who knows how far she's going to take it, who knows where she's going to go. But just her being in here is just such a giant step, and I'm super excited to have her. So being good to yourself, like it says under her name, is the first step in everything. So Lindsey, thank you, and I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Kerin,
Hi.
where are you in Florida, by the way? Because I'm sure it's a lot hotter than where I am right now.
I'm in South Florida, so it's really hot. But I am actually from Staten Island. So
there you
when
go. Good.
I watched Sons, and I knew you were from Staten Island. I was really excited. Staten Island never gets any love. Never.
The Wu-Tang and
Not
me.
sure why.
Wu-Tang, me, and Paul Newman lived here for a little while. So there's a few different things. We had some
Christina
cool
Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera too. There you go. There's a couple of things from here.
I didn't know she did.
Go ahead, Kerin.
My sister actually started working in an elementary school in an autism unit, and I was a substitute teacher at the time, just going to college and everything. And I went into her classroom, and a new student had just come, and he was, they weren't really sure how to handle him. He was kind of violent with the other kids and with them, and he didn't want to do anything, and he didn't want to learn, he didn't want to sit down, he just kind of wanted to sit there and color and refused to do anything else. And they offered me a job as his one-on-one. So I took that job and I went in because I became very fond of him when I was substituting in there, and I wanted to help him. Because he seemed very smart, he seemed like he had a lot of potential, but he was very nervous and he was very anxious about everything. And so I got the job in there and I started working with him, and he completely changed over the next few months. He started participating with the class, he started socializing with the class, his speech started getting better. He wanted to learn how to read and write, and I was teaching him that, and it was just insane to see it happen so quickly. We really connected, I guess, and he really enjoyed working with me, and that felt really great. And it was so nice to see him start branching out and learning and sitting and socializing and everything. And he actually moved to another school, but I do see him, I babysit for him, so I still work with him a lot. But I still work with ASD kids and the same kids that were in my class last year, all of them. I just see them improving all this year, and it's great. It's amazing.
I love it, and it just shows, and through when I was reading the story and stuff, it's like one kid, one act of kindness, one kind of like giving somebody a different spin on things. A lot of stuff, it's crazy, even in a weird comparison, it's like a lot of stuff what I do with like, rescue dogs and street dogs and stuff like that. People that, have want nothing to do with specific animals or want nothing to do with, specific kids who have developmentally disabled, working with, a group out here called A Very Special Place, and just seeing the way how people are so easily turned away from anybody that has any bit of difference. And I just thought that it just shows very specifically how if we just give a moment of time to something that's a little different than us, how fast we can change things. Because changing one person's life, if we all just change one person's life in our lifetime, the world would be a pretty amazing place. So thank you so much, Kerin, and I'm glad you're nice and warm over there. I'm freezing. Danny,
Yo,
how are you, brother?
Good, man.
Good,
how you doing?
Man. I'm good. I'm really good. I'm really. I'm just gonna let you tell your story, and then I'm just gonna say that. I'm not gonna say anything else. Go ahead.
Okay. Of course, I'm sitting next to my cousin Jackie. She's the one who submitted my story, which is the reason why I'm here today. So thank you. I broke my neck June 24th, 2000. I was just out with my friends. I was on a lake. Dove off a boat, not realizing the depth of the water. And next thing I knew, I opened my eyes in the water and I couldn't move. And thankfully, two of my friends saw that I was not getting up, and they ran in and they grabbed me and they pulled me up onto the shore. And I immediately noticed right when they pulled me on the shore, I couldn't move my legs. And I was yelling, I can't move my legs. I can't move my legs. And one of my friends bent down, he started hitting my leg. And he said, Dan, can you feel that? And I couldn't feel it. And right then I knew what happened. I knew I broke my neck, and I just yelled, call 911. And that was the last thing I heard. My mind probably went to shit. I was airlifted to Boston Medical Center, and I was in intensive care unit. I was in intensive care unit for a month, and on top of breaking my neck at the C6 vertebrae and becoming a C6 quadriplegic, I swallowed a lot of dirty water, and my left lung came down to severe pneumonia. And I was unable to breathe on my own, and I was on a life support system known as a ventilator, which was breathing for me because I was unable to breathe. And in the early stages, my family was asking the doctors that I can't get out of water. And doctors just told my family to take one day at a time. They weren't sure if I was going to make it through the night. And then after about 2.5 to 3 weeks later, I started to breathe a little bit of my own, and doctors realized that I was gonna survive. But the thought of me ever walking again or ever having any sense of independence was out of the question. Instead, I would be a C6 dependent quadriplegic. I would spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. I would never walk again. And I would be lucky if I could ever feed myself again. And, you know, I'm only 19 years old, and they're telling me this. And, you know, the first thing I think of, you know, is I can either listen to what these doctors are telling me, or I can say, screw that. I'm going to go for it. Because I truly believed, you know, I was an athlete growing up. I played football, I played baseball my whole life, I worked out a lot, and I truly, truly believed as long as I took one day at a time, just one day at a time, and gave it everything that I had on that one in particular day, that there would come a day I got up and walked again. And I believed it with every fiber of my body. You know, I knew I was young. I knew I had my whole life ahead of me. And I just made a promise to myself that I was never going to give up, and I was going to give it everything I had every day. And, you know, the first few years were a little slow. You know, my insurance company was only covering 45 minutes, 3 days a week of physical therapy, which was a joke. You know, I needed a lot more than 45 minutes, 3 days a week. And I was recovering from a spinal cord injury. I was paralyzed. I wasn't recovering from a broken leg. I needed more than that. And on my off days, I went to a local YMCA. You know, I rode an electrical stimulation bike. I had a trainer work with my upper body. At home, I was doing as much as I could on my own. I had a standing machine that I would get into every single night, which was a machine that would put me in a standing position. And I got in that every night for 2 or 3 hours and watched the Red Sox games. And you know, after a couple of years, after about 2-year mark, insurance cut me off, and they told me I was done progressing. And so I did a lot of research, and I found out about a place in California that worked with spinal cord injuries up to 3 hours a day. I'm like, well, 3 hours a day, you know, that's what I needed. That's what I wanted. I was willing to put in the work. I just needed the opportunity. So, and this was a private paid place, you know, insurance didn't cover it. So I had a brother, who's actually in the movie business as well, who lives out in LA. So I flew out to LA in September 2002, and we drove down to San Diego, and I went into this facility. And I was in there for not even 5 minutes. And I saw, you know, quadriplegics and paraplegics on total gyms and on treadmills and on spin bikes. And their trainers were doing things with them that my therapist wouldn't have dreamed of doing. And I knew that if I wanted to reach my goal of getting up and walking again, that was the program I needed to be a part of. But at the time, my biggest problem was, I still was, at that time, a dependent quadriplegic. I am the youngest of 7, so my older brothers and sisters would alternate days and help take care of me. I had a personal care assistant who would help me, you know, with my daily needs. And on top of being a dependent quadriplegic at that time, I lived 3,000 miles away. I live in Boston. This place was in San Diego. And I just remember leaving this facility, and I knew, I was like, I need to get out here. You know, I need to be a part of this program. But I couldn't ask any of my older brothers and sisters to move to California with me. You know, they were married, they had their careers, their family. My brother lived in LA with his family and doing his thing. He couldn't move to San Diego. So if it was a move I was going to have to make, I was going to have to do it on my own. And I just remember going back to Boston and just, I mean, I had to force myself into independence. Tying my sneakers was taking 45 minutes. You know, but 3 months later, I was doing it in 30 minutes. And then 2 months later, I was doing it in 15 minutes. And I was now able to dress myself and button my buttons and zip my zippers, which was hard to do when I couldn't move my fingers. And I went and I learned how to drive again. And I got my license. And 11 months after visiting this center, August 1st, 2003, I boarded a plane. I flew out to California. I got a 1-bedroom apartment, and I joined this program. And it was an extremely intense exercise-based program. I'm talking blood, sweat, and tears. Gave it everything I had. And I walked out of there nearly 7 years after doctors told me I would never walk again. I walked out of there with my walker. And that left me with a new goal. You know, I couldn't understand coming from Boston, Massachusetts. You know, we're the capital of the medical field. We're supposed to have the best doctors, the best hospitals. Why did I have to move 3,000 miles away? Not only to find a place to help me walk again, but to find a place to give me my life back. A healthy, quality, independent life. And I now want to bring that program back home to Boston. So other people didn't have to move 3,000 miles away from their family, away from their friends, and away from everything they've ever known. You know, so I came home, and with the help of my brother Jimmy, we raised $350,000. We started a nonprofit organization called Journey Forward. And I founded the organization. We opened up on June 1st, 2008. We started with 2 specialists. We only had 9 clients. And, you know, we were kind of the new kids on the block. You know, hospitals and doctors are looking at us like, whoa, what are you doing? You know, what is this all about? But, you know, over the years, we gained their respect and their acknowledgement. You know, and today, we're now 10 years old. You know, we started in 2008. We're now 10 years old. I have a staff of 19. We have 97 clients that we're working with on a weekly basis. We've gained a lot of respect and acknowledgement from the medical field. Local hospitals are sending all their patients to us. And what we do is we work with individuals with paralysis through an intense exercise-based program. And, you know, my goal as founder and president of Journey Forward is to continue opening these centers around the country, because there's just not enough out there. There's not enough out there for individuals with paralysis, whether it's spinal cord injury, whether it's stroke, you know, whether it's brain injury. You know, these individuals, they need an opportunity, you know, an opportunity to get better. Everyone deserves an opportunity, right? Everyone, especially these people, you know, doctors and insurance companies tell them they'll never do this, they'll never do that. Well, you know what? I truly believe as long as one person takes one day at a time and gives everything that they have every single day, that one can accomplish anything. You know, the mind's a powerful tool. And, you know, that's what we do at Journey Forward. We give individuals an opportunity not only to get up and walk again, but an opportunity to get to life. And, you know, that's what we do.
That's absolutely amazing, Danny. I mean, you know, I'm sure everybody who hears that's going to say the same exact thing, but you really, you know, you took something that literally breaks people, you know, that just puts them like when they at best they just go and just accept it, and you know that's their life, right? You took that and not just put yourself in the position you're in, and I'm sure you've heard this 6 million times. You've now changed a ton of other people's lives, you know, and you continue to do that, and you're just getting started, like you said. I mean, that to me is everything. It's why I exist. It's what your story is can be paralleled in so many different ways. You know, you're dealing with paralysis and you're dealing with all forms of that, and people who feel utterly hopeless, and giving them hope by showing them that, you know, we all know about the medical situation in this country. We all know about the medical situation really in the world. Like there's just a lot of, you know, horrific things that are going on. And now to see what you're doing and that selfless part of that, and taking a complete and utter giant capital and negative and turning it into this, that's really, in my book, you've conquered life in every single way, and you've become a huge example to everybody. And I'm honored, and I think it's awesome that you shared your story, and I think it's so awesome that you were nominated by Jack with the coolest shirt in the world on next to you, just so you know. I mean, we're back in my handsome days. But yeah, I could sit here and talk about your situation forever. Just know that I'm a giant fan, and I'll be shooting a movie in Providence soon, so I hope to see you there. You guys got to come down and jump in the movie. I'll be right in your neck of the woods in about a month. Yeah, I'm gonna make you guys come down, hang out for a little while. So really, it's like we hear things from all over the spectrum, right? We hear every single thing. We hear all these different things that start off and go a certain way, and it's really, at the end of the day, what are we trying to do here, right? What are we trying to do with Go Get It Life? We're trying to tell people that, like, just get up, like, don't waste time. Like, this isn't a dress rehearsal. We got one shot, right? This is every single day. We don't have, like, in a few hours, we're not going to ever have this day again, and tomorrow we're not going, you know, it's like, and to me, I've really tried to put myself in a position and really only surround myself with people who understand that we can't do anything about the past. It's done with. It's over with. It doesn't mean anything anymore. We can only do something about right now at this present moment and what we're doing. And then we can only do something about how we're going to dictate our future. And whether it be the few of us that are here, the 5 of us, and a few people that are listening, or a lot of people that are listening, or 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, whatever it is, that people just make a decision. And even if it's for a day, it's what we learned in anything. It could be teaching, helping someone in class. It could be someone taking a complete, basically ending incapacitation of their life and changing a ton of other lives and continuing to do that. It could be someone who all day teaches their son and betters their community, and at the same time is an artist. It could be someone who is improving themselves from the ground up every single day, motivating themselves to be a better person, which their journey is just beginning. And it could be someone who is dealing with, which we all have and we all deal with, the negative side of life, the negative self-talk that we have, and then taking that and facing it and dealing with it and moving forward with it. It's like, that's the stuff that motivates me every day. It motivates me in my work. It motivates me with my sons. It motivates me with my dogs, with my community, with my life. And, you know, I don't know where I'm going to wind up. I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know where I'm going to raise my kids. I don't know any of that stuff. But what I do know is that at this present moment, I have more hope. And I know that a lot of people in this world feel hopeless right now. I understand. It's just the way people look at the world. I have more hope than ever in this world, because I feel like at this present moment, what I get to see, the world I choose to look at, is people like you, is people who are every single day just doing it, just going out. And like I said, in all different forms. So I thank every one of you. I Go Get It Life is gogetitlife.com. Anybody who has stories, submit your stories to @gogetitlife.com. And the one thing I just want to do before we go, just because, you know, I just really wanted to hear every single person's story, and I wanted everybody else to hear everybody's story. Do you guys have any questions? Do you guys want to talk about anything? Do you guys, you know, because you got to understand, it's such a weird thing for me. I do this. The only reason I swear to God, I said this the other day and somebody thought that I was kidding. The reason I work so hard in everything I do, the reason I, you know, I have all these different companies, the reason I work so hard in acting, and I'm so, you know, I'm so determined to really do the best work I can all the time, to really do the best in my career. I mean, I started as an extra in this. What motivates me all day is that I know that the bigger my platform gets, the more people I can help, the more people can help me, the more that I can do more. I think probably my problem with Hollywood is that there's people who have incredible platforms and who do nothing. They're keyboard activists. You know, they just kind of say a few tweets or say things and don't really do anything. And there are people that are doing stuff. Believe me, there are. But if every one of them did stuff, if all people of influence went out and did things, and really not just in a donation to an organization type thing, but really like got out there and got to know people's stories and got to touch people and got to like really get people motivated and show people. I just think that in all facets, not just entertainment and sports and music and in anything, because we've become a world that we're so aware of what these people are doing. I just think that we would have a much better world. So I'm hoping that I see a lot more of that. So for me, just know that anytime I'm trying to do something, anytime I'm trying to make I'm saying things, and it's probably why my posts are boring to people, because they're just really about being better. I'm not going to really say anything ridiculous. I'm not going to get involved in all the negativity of it all. Just know that I'm doing it because I just want to see as many people live their best life as possible, and that's it. So you guys, again, if there's anything you want to talk about, if there's anything you want to say, if there's anything, whatever, go for it. Let's go. Marina, what do you got? I'm going to you. So we're going to go right down, then we're going to finish. Marina, what do you got? You're right next to me, so you always go first. It's just kind of the way it is. You're right next to me on the screen.
I don't know. I can't think of anything. Well, I guess I wanted to know if you'd be back in France anytime soon, but you answered that earlier. So
yeah, soon, real soon. It's actually where I proposed to my wife under the Eiffel Tower.
Oh no, that's so cool.
Yeah, I did. I surprised her under the Eiffel Tower. It's her favorite city in the world. She's been there a bunch, and it was, she was pregnant with Kane when we were there, and it's I'm getting there. Yeah, like I said, I'll be in Germany in the first week of May as of right now. Right, March, April, May. Yeah, May. I'll be in Germany, in Frankfurt, Germany, and then I think I have to kind of rush back because I finished that movie in Providence like late April, I think, and then I don't know what's going on with the next gig. But if I do have time, the place I would be going after Germany would be Paris. But if I do, we're definitely we're gonna hang and grab an espresso or something.
I'd love to.
Yes, we are for sure. Laura, I'm sure I'll see you anytime. Your hair looks different than the last time I saw you.
It's pink.
And Laura, just because I want people to see, I need people to see what you do because you've made all the cakes for my sons and stuff like that. And I know it's a totally different thing, but I just want people to see because I think as someone who's fancies themselves a bit of an artist or tries to be, I just want people to see how incredible the stuff you do is. Is there anywhere they can see that?
Well, actually, in between the technology part, I was making a Johnny Walker Blue bottle cake it's in the fridge, and I'm making a country western. So I was rolling fondant in between when we did the sound check. So I have 2 big parties tonight. But and it's a pleasure to serve your family, be a part of your family's lives, get to see so much you do for this community. People don't know what you really do for this community, you and Megan, and everything you support. I truly want to thank you for believing in me. My friend Christine, who nominated me, I always say people take cupcakes and they eat them and it's a sweet little treat for them. But a cupcake symbolizes my whole life and how I'm able to be a better person and give back. Because I was a cupcake girl at a bakery in Brooklyn, I was presented with the gift of adoption for my son. And so a cupcake, I owe my whole entire well-being of being a mom and having a reason to live. However, I work with a lot of animals. Pit bulls are my biggest, my breed favorite. I'm a big advocate with New York Bully Crew and saving and helping rescuing pit bulls, as well as all other dogs and animals. My friend Mia, with her No More Ouchies, she's a little 9-year-old leukemia patient. Hurricane Sandy, through food. People have donated when I put up a cupcake sale, and my community and my family and friends believe in me and they buy cupcakes through me so I could help raise thousands of dollars to be able to help. So I don't think that I'm the good person. I think all of you people that believe in me and constantly support me, whether it's a dog that needs surgery or raising money for Band-Aids for the No More Ouchies program, or helping one of my friends who got thrown out of her house and getting an apartment for her. I really believe that the whole community, this island, with Hurricane Sandy, we fed 25,000 people in 3 weeks with our barbecues. I'm just grateful for everybody who believes in me and is always my army behind me. Every time I put a crazy post on Facebook and I'm like, cupcake sale, dog needs ear surgery or something, finding a home. I'm truly beyond humble. And when Christine told me that I won this thing, and I said, what are you talking about? And I said, I don't do anything great. It's you guys that support me. I'm able to move mountains because of your family, Theo, your wonderful wife, Megan. I adore her. My son is obsessed with her. And all my family and friends. You guys always support me in every single thing I do, and I get to fatten you people up because I can't lose weight, so everybody gets fat around me. So I'm glad to be able to feed everybody. So I can't, beyond from the bottom of my heart, thank you for always believing in me and helping when I need to help save a dog, or I need to help save a cancer patient, or feed people when hurricanes hit, Puerto Rico. We was able to send tons of pallets of stuff over. You guys are amazing to this community, and you don't take enough credit for what you do for this island and what you did for Hurricane Sandy and how you rebuilt homes and everything. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for always believing in me. And
of course,
that's it. Like I said, I'm not great. It's everybody else that helps me who's great.
Well, so, thank you. And like I've said, I mean, everything starts with I think that should be the motto for the world. Everything starts with a cupcake. Just have a cupcake and think about it, and then we could all just make.
Listen, my tattoo. People, my tattoo is people really believe that it's a treat, and to me, I'm able to give back and have a life all because of a simple cupcake. So I really appreciate cupcakes.
I love it. I thank you, Lindsey. I know you're going to get all shy on me, and that's okay. I just want to say, I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say that just for I want you to say what you want to say, but I want to say how much I'm looking forward to watching your journey continue, and to how much I'm looking forward to how you've been so good to yourself, and how you've been so kind to yourself, and you've really and I guess it's really hard for people to understand. I somehow understand it. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's because I'm an observer and I see things that just how far you've come. And so if you want to say anything, go for it. And again, like I told you, I got your back. You don't have to if you don't. And you could do whatever you want, but go for it.
I just really want to say thank you to you, because you're the one that's inspired me the most.
Well, it's funny. What's funny about me is I have no, I don't, like you were saying before, like taking credit and doing all these things. Like, I don't, that's kind of like, I just don't think about that. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people do. And I understand why they do. There's a weird thing about, people want recognition. They want credit. I get it. Listen, man, it's one of those things that, like, I get. Because when you get it, it feels good, right? People say, oh, you did this, and that's awesome. What I've come to find out is that I find so much more recognition in just doing it and not thinking about it, and then hearing things like, Lindsey, and hearing things like Laura, and hearing things like all you guys. I get some incredible stuff written to me. I also get some pretty terrible stuff written to me, but I really do get some incredible stuff written to me from people. And it's just always been about, my whole thing is legacy. I'm a big thing on legacy. Like, what are my kids going to think about me? What are people going to think about me? It's when you say, me being an inspiration, it's funny because my inspirations are you guys. My inspirations are not people, I have, people all over my walls and stuff that I look at that are inspiring to me. The Paul Newmans, Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, people who have just inspired me by how they live and how they actually, did their day to day. But on a day-to-day basis, the people that inspire me are weird things. Like, my dogs inspire me. My son's sweetness inspires me. So I am just mirroring that back to you guys. So I thank you. And thanks for saying that, Linz. Kerin, Staten Island via Florida now. if you want to say something, go for it. Again, you don't have to. And I just want to say that young boy that you helped is, I'm sure he'll realize it. And even if he doesn't, the fact that you can sleep at night knowing that you changed somebody's life is everything. That's it. So go for it. And I just want to say thank you for that before you do.
I want to say thanks for, enjoying my story and allowing me to be part of this. But when I started Sons, which was actually not the first thing I saw you in, I saw you in the Mary Kate and Ashley when I was
I knew it.
And that's when I started watching Sons, and I saw you in it, and I was kind of shocked that that was the same person. And I started it when I was at a kind of like a bad point in my life. Things weren't going great, and so I started binge watching Sons, and I started really just liking Juice, and it really helped me get through that a lot. I'm sorry, I don't want to get emotional.
No, it's all good.
And then I started following your career and Go Get It Life and everything. And it just really changed my life a lot. So thank you. I do actually have, I met him in October at the Walker Stalker thing. So that was a really cool thing that happened last year, which wasn't a great year for me. So thank you.
Well, those are, when I try to guarantee myself that I'm gonna get out. I'm really fortunate, that I've been super busy with work for the last 10 years, and I try to get myself out at things like Walker and, even our runs for Go Get It Life and anything else that I can do. And I try to at least get to 5 of those. That was the Walker, the one we did was really probably my favorite ever, just because it was so cool. And also because as someone who only watched Walking Dead up until season 2, all my boys were on that show, every one of my friends, and it was a super cool thing. And again, whenever I get to see the guys from Sons, it's like this, it's like a reunion that no one can ever understand, because there's things in your life that are they're time capsules. They're once in a lifetime things. They're literally something that no matter how good it gets, no matter what it changes, no matter what, there's this moment where everything in your life changed. And that moment was Sons, at a specific, I even remember the time and the episode that aired. And I remember when because we would all hang out every day. We all still talk all the time, but it was one of those things where your existence as a human changes, where you go, oh, wow, that's never going to be the same again. So that show is always so incredibly important to me. So I love that. I'm a huge fan of it. I've never really understood when actors don't like something they've done, or they don't like talking about it, or they don't like being recognized for it. I just think that's the weirdest thing in the world. It's the only reason why somebody's talking to them. Why would they not want to talk to it? I've always found that. But actors in general just freak me out. They're I don't get it. But thank you, Kerin. And Danny, I think I'm going to speak for everybody when I just say that your story is pretty amazing. And like I said, I'll be in Providence for a while, starting the first week of March. So I expect you guys there, and no matter what, we'll figure that out after this. But yeah, man, whatever you want to say, you let me know, and go for it.
You were talking earlier about not being able to change the past. And I'll tell you, man, that was the best advice I ever got, when I broke my neck. I remember laying in the hospital and my brother Jimmy looking down at me and saying, Dan, whatever it is, don't ever look back at that day and ask yourself why you dove off that boat. Because you cannot change it. There's nothing you can do to change the past. All you can do is make it better. And I carried that with me for the last, 18 years. So right on when you say that, you can never change the past. You just got to move on. You just got to make it better. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's something that is so hard for people to do, because I understand. Like, I try to tell everybody, and anybody who's listening to this, and I try to tell them in the best way I can, like, I understand those moments when you're in the shower. I understand those moments before you go to bed, when you close your eyes but you're not really sleeping. I understand those moments when you're alone for a sec. I understand how hard it is to not think about things that have happened to you, to not think about things that are going on in the world, to not think about things that happened yesterday, things you said, things you didn't do, things you wanted to do, things that I understand that, but it's utterly, utterly irrelevant. And it's kind of where Go Get It Life came from. And it's kind of what Go Get It Life represents, because you have to go get the life that you have right now. You have to go get the future. You have to go get the present. And I think every one of you have shown that. So thank you so much to everyone. I know that people are watching this live. There's going to be ways that they can see it. Megan is here with Arlo, so she's to the side. Is there anything that I have to say that I haven't said? Is there anything that...
Well, I had to leave for a little bit to feed him. But,
yes. What's up, buddy?
You know, I would just encourage more people to share their story. I mean, you saw how cathartic and how healing and learning this has been for people. You know, stories at GoGetItLife.com.
Stories at GoGetItLife.com. I've already said that.
Oh,
I've said it. I've been rocking that. And GoGetItLife.com. Laura, go back to those cakes. Everybody else. I'm craving a funfetti cake if anyone is making.
I'm actually going to make you another one, because I found something more sequins, really cool sequins that I want to put in the cake. So I'm going to drop it off soon.
My wife and I's biggest disagreement in life is that she loves glitter and confetti, and I can't stand it. All right, I want nothing to do with it. It's a disaster, and I don't like cleaning it up. So
everything's so happy.
Yeah, she just loves it.
He's from Staten Island now.
Yeah, I don't like any of that stuff. But yeah, guys, thank you. I thank you all a million times. Everybody knows, man. You need to talk to me. You need to do whatever. Hit me up. Direct message me. I'll always write you back. I'll always whatever. It's just, especially when I try to get the time and do what I can. And this video will live on what? On YouTube. It'll live on YouTube. It's going to live on YouTube. It's paying rent and living on YouTube. And thank you guys again. And I appreciate every single one of you. And talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of the day and the night. Peace all.